Listen, do not think for a second that they don't see you. They're just acting like they don't. Jealousy is a very interesting thing because there's so many different categories of it. That jealous woman that acts like she doesn't see you, I promise you, not only does she see you, she most likely knows almost everything there is to know about you. And the passive aggressiveness and the hostility and the coldness that she's giving off to you is in response to whatever info about you that she's found. If you're in the corporate spaces, if you have social media, please put it on private. Disconnect. If you have TikTok, disconnect your TikTok from your contacts, because the jealous woman that acts like she doesn't see you, she does. And she's going to gather information about you. Listen, when somebody is jealous of you, they may act like they don't see you, but they see you, okay? They act like they don't see you as a way to make you feel rejected, but I promise you they are keeping tabs on you. I went to a church where the first lady hated my guts, hated my existence. Okay, we never had a conversation, but she hated my guts. One day during praise and worship, I was new to the church at this time. It was probably like my third week going there. During praise and worship, I'm praising and I'm worshiping, and at this church, they put the camera on people during praise and worship. So they put the camera on me, and I looked at her body language, right? She was in the first row. First ladies always sit in the first row at the end. I looked at her body. Before I even go to that, I keep my head on a swivel. And this is what I tell you ladies and gentlemen, when you go out into the real world, your head needs to be on a swivel. Okay, you need to be very observant as to what's going on around you, the people around you, the body language, because that'll help you. That helps you with survival skills. Keep your head on a swivel. Okay, my grandma always taught me when you're in church, you pray with one eye open and one eye closed, because you need to see what's going on around you. Anytime you're in the collective, you must pay attention because people are out of control. We know that. She sees my face on the big screen and her entire body language changes. I remember she was wearing like these 6-inch, very tall heels. So she slants her body to the left and she pokes her hip out. She crosses her arm and she just stands like that and freezes like that as the camera is still on me as she's looking. And the thing with women, these jealous women, they can't control themselves. And that's their problem. And they think that they can hide it or that you can't spot it, right? So once the camera gets off me, she slightly turns her body. You see, that is the thing. Listen, I've dealt with so much violence in the past from women, whether it's women trying to jump on me, family members trying to jump on me, women trying to show up to events that they know I'm going to be at, or showing up to weddings that they know I'm walking in, telling me that they're going to wait for me in the parking lot. I've dealt with all of that. So I'm very good in environments with women because I know how to deal with them, because I know how violent they can get. So I already know what to keep my head on a swivel and to look out for them, because you never know. If there's going to be a sneak attack, you never know. Remember what happened to the girl with the acid in Trinidad? Like with women, you have to, So she starts slightly turning her body, very slightly. And she thinks that I'm stupid and that I don't know that she's trying to spot me to mark me or to look out for me. Because we know a lot of these first ladies and these religious, organizations, they're very insecure, because they always feel like somebody is going to come in and mess with their husband and take their spot and all this stuff that women worry about. Ladies, if you're with a man where you have to keep your head on a swivel and be worried about every single woman that walks into the environment, maybe that's not the best relationship for you. That doesn't sound very healthy. It sounds possessive, and it sounds like you're not at peace or at ease with your relationship. So she starts slightly turning her body. So dumb to think that I don't see you. And I don't know that you're trying to spot me in the crowd. So she starts twisting her body, slightly twisting, trying to make it look like she's looking at the ushers. The ushers, when you're at a church, or any religious organization, really, the ushers or the greeters, they always stand by the door, right? To let people in because it's dark, especially during praise and worship. They stand by the door. So she tried to make it look like, opening her eyes all wide like a raccoon, trying to make it look like she's looking towards the outside. But in reality, she's trying to spot me and look at me and get a clear view of me off camera. Okay. The minute she did this, I got one eyebrow up because I already know, okay, she's threatened. And soon, I'm not going to be in this church very long because she's threatened. Women don't just get threatened and do nothing about it. If they're threatened, they're going to do something about it. That's why that whole narrative that, women are less of a danger than men, that's a lie. I think that both genders are dangerous in their own ways. Women are more emotionally dangerous, sometimes even physical. But if they feel threatened, they're going to start their manipulation, their reputation ruining. They're going to get started. Never doubt that they won't get started. The minute a woman feels threatened by you, she's going to act on it. She's never going to leave it alone, right? So mind you, this lady, she did her big number. She got me kicked off of all teams. She did her big number, got me kicked off of all group chats, got me removed from everything because she was upset that the guy that she was with, if a woman looks good, men are going to look. That's just how it is. Just like you're a woman, if a man is handsome, you're going to look. That's a part of life. You can't hold every woman responsible because your man did a double take. If a woman I even look at a woman if she's attractive. I do a double take at attractive women. I'm not into women, but I do a double take when I see an attractive woman. Anytime you see handsomeness or beauty or anything, you're going to stop. That's natural. But no, they want to punish you for that, which is what this woman did to me. Mind you, I had no dealings to make her even think that way. But jealous women are always going to take it to the farthest extent, right? All of a sudden, my boss is nitpicking apart certain parts of my job duties that are like surface level, like things I've already mastered, things I already know how to do. All of a sudden, she's nitpicking or asking these weird questions that are very odd, and this was going on for weeks. And I'm like, well, that's strange. Why is she asking me about nonsense? Didn't tell her that, but that's what I thought. Because I know how to do my job. Come to find out, she forwards an email to me from another person that sent her that email. She says, look at this. I look at the email that was forwarded to her in regards to me. And I'm looking at the verbiage and I'm like, who is this person? Because I know the way the people in my department type. I know their verbiage. I know my colleagues and the way that their tone of voice in their email. And I'm reading the email and I'm like, no one that I know writes like this. So this is definitely somebody who is not in my department. She ends up telling me who the person is. And it's this woman that has an office across from me. Okay, this woman has an office across from me. And no, we're not in the same department. We just happen to have offices across from each other. Sometimes it's a good morning. Sometimes it's not. Okay, because we don't really run into each other. Our job duties have nothing to do with each other. But she sent my boss that email picking apart my work, meaning my work gets to 3 people before it gets to her, right? Because that's how far our departments are from each other. and the hierarchy. And I'm like, oh, so she's been watching me the whole time. She's been jealous, and she's been looking for an opportunity to covertly attack me. Not all attacks are physical. Covertly attack me. Ladies and gentlemen, the jealous person, the jealous woman, they're watching you. Even if they act like you're not important, or when you walk in the room, they look away or they walk away, or when you're talking, they don't respond to you, they act like they don't see you, they see you. And they're doing their research on you. They're Googling you. They're going to your LinkedIn account. They're trying to see if they can find you on social media. Jealous women see you. They notice you. They're aware of who you are. They may try and act like they don't know who you are. They may try and act like you're just, you're not a thought in their mind. But they're watching you, and they're watching you very closely. So when I got this email, I was shocked. And not only was I shocked, I got angry. Because first of all, and this is the problem when you have women that are managing other women. And this is not me being a misogynist. This is me being a truth teller. Women like to play into the playground. And that's why it's very difficult to have women as your boss or manager or supervisor, because you don't know if they have the maturity levels to not play around in the BS that goes on in the workplace. Most don't. Okay? If you have a men as your boss, not saying they're perfect, but a lot of men, they're not going to play into the kiddie school, the high school. Most men don't have time for that. But women do. So it's hard to find a manager or a supervisor or a boss who's a woman that is not going to play into, and that's not going to enable childish behavior amongst women in the workplace. They will usually piggyback off of it and become a part of it. Because in the past, my male managers, they didn't have time for that nonsense. And women never brought that nonsense to them. And if they did, it would immediately get dismissed. Because men kind of hyper-focus on other things. They don't really go through life with a groupthink mindset in regards to women. They don't really allow women to come in and try and manipulate their minds or reel them into drama. That's a woman thing. So I told my boss, I said, so she's been emailing you about me for weeks? And my boss was like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't you just directly tell me the first incident? Why didn't you tell me, hey, Mel, so-and-so sent this email in regards to you about your work and the way that you've been sending it? Maybe you can have a conversation with her to see if there's anything that she may need changed in the formatting so that it's more adaptable to her. You didn't say that. You played along with it for weeks, and then you bring it to me when it's already bad and it's already gotten to the chief officer. Now is when you bring it to me. And at that point, that's when I realized that my manager, she was my enemy as well. Because you wait until the ship has officially sunk to give me a heads up. So again, I did what a mature woman does. And that's why sometimes I tell you guys it's either women like me or they hate me, because I'm very direct. Women are not used to being direct. Women are very indirect. So everything that they do is in an indirect manner or a covert manner or an under the table manner. Everything that they do is under the table. So not being rude, but a lot of times when a woman will meet a woman who's direct, that'll tell you, hey, do this way, or hey, I don't like that, or hey, can you please explain that to me, or hey, this was told to me, and you just come in straight like that. Women probably will not like you. They will probably consider you a mean girl or a mean person, because a lot of women are very covert with the way they go through life. Everything is passive aggressive. Men are aggressive, women are passive aggressive. So instead of her having an office right across from me to come up to me and say, hey, Mel, I know that this is the format that you've been doing it in for the last 2 years, but can we add a couple tweaks to it so that by the time it gets to me, it's understandable? You're right across from me. You couldn't do that. You had to send my boss email on top of email on top of email, making it look like I don't know what I'm doing. And then her dumb self fed into it and then wants to bring it up to me after the ship has already sunk. And then a lot of women get upset when the patriarchy does not want women in positions of leadership. That is an example of why. The immaturity is the example of why. Because the whole point is for us to have a system that is flowing here. And if you want a system to flow, you just tell the person, hey, by the time your work gets to them, they don't really understand that format because you guys were trained differently. So let's try to create a new format that you both understand. That's direct and to the point, but they didn't do that. They decided to keep letting it ride and then finally bring it up to me when the ship already sunk and it already reached the higher ups. So I got up and I did the mature woman thing to do, which gets me called a mean girl sometimes, is I got up and I knocked on her office door. Knock, knock, knock. She opens the door. I said, hey, how are you? She said, I'm good. How are you? I said, do you have a minute? I'd like to have a conversation with you. She's like, sure, of course. Come on in. So I come on in and I told her, you moved into this office across from me 6 months ago about, right? And she's like, yeah. I said, if you had an issue with the way the formatting was sent to you, which is the correct way, by the way, the email that you sent was incorrect and it was misinformation, in case you didn't know. The way it's been getting to you is the way that I was trained for it to be done. Okay? It's done differently from the way that you learned it because we have different superiors. So you said it was incorrect. That was wrong. It was not incorrect. You were just trained differently. I'd like to make that clear. That's one. Two, if you have an issue with something, we're in the same office. Why are you sending emails, countless trails of emails to my manager? She's in a different state. Okay? We're right across from each other. Why couldn't you just walk over here and ask me? Then she started lying, right? She started lying. And I brought her a printout of all the emails that she sent to my manager. I printed them, I stapled them, and I dated them. And I spread them all across her table so that we can go through what was said. Let's just say after that day, she couldn't stand me. Because a lot of women who are jealous, who have this jealousy problem going on, they do sneak attacks, like what they did in Trinidad when they threw that hot acid on that poor girl's face. Women like to do these sneaky things. They're very sneaky. Women are very, very, very sneaky. And they do these sneaky things because they have a problem with being direct. For some reason, I always tell women, what are you afraid of exactly? Because a lot of women have this underlying fear, and it starts to translate into toxicity. When you are afraid to speak up, now you're doing covert things under the table. Now you're making calls, sending texts. Now it's making you look bad. And sometimes I know women are not doing it intentionally. It's because they have a fear of speaking up. And that can come from trauma, childhood, the way their parents treated them, their past relationships. I understand that extent of it because a lot of women, we have been taught to be silenced. But as a grown adult woman, you got to speak up. You know, you cannot be, cutting corners, sending emails left and right, and then you're shaking in your boots when you're addressed about it. And for me, that's sometimes where people say that my personality is intimidating because I'm a very direct person. And the reason why is because I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother is an old island woman. So old island women, if you're an islander, you know that, you can have a grandmother that's in her 70s and she'll talk to that 3-year-old like that 3-year-old is 30 years old. In island culture, there is no age. I don't care if you're a newborn baby. They will talk to that newborn baby like that baby understands every word coming out of their mouth. If you're an islander, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They talk to pets like they're grown adults. They talk to babies and children like they're grown adults. So because I'm an island girl, I'm used to directness. Because my grandmother, when she spoke to me, she gave it to me straight. She didn't hold back. She didn't tap dance around it. It's just what you like. If you lost too much weight or you gained too much weight or whatever, and you walk into an island family, they will tell you that straight up from the moment they meet you. It's very straightforward in island culture. So when somebody's straightforward and direct to me, I don't take it personal because I'm used to that. I'm an island girl. I'm used to that. You know, they have a certain level of maturity that they place on you. But it's not until I got into corporate that I realized, what is this fear that a lot of women have of speaking their mind? And instead, they're doing things under the table in hopes that it won't get back to you. And then when it gets back to you and you address them about it, they start crying or playing victim as if you were not supposed to find out what they were doing. And that's where the jealousy comes in, because a lot of times people, their desire is to get people to see you in a different light, in a negative light. So they do that covertly. So basically, by sending all those messages to my boss, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it seem like I'm working incorrectly, so that it can get to the higher ups and they could say, oh, she's not doing her job. Let's get her fired. That's the whole goal. Now, mind you, when I found that out, I literally almost ran to the toilet. I almost ran to the toilet because I was shocked. I was shocked because this woman's office is right across from mine. So I'm like, how is this even possible? That for weeks, she's been the one sending these emails out about me, to me, about me. Jealous women are always watching you. A lot of you guys, you're in the workplace and a coworker, she's being weird to you. Most likely she's found your Facebook and she's went through it. Or she's found your Instagram and went through it, found your LinkedIn. She started doing her research and information gathering on you. And she found something that triggered her insecurities in regards to you. And that's why she's all of a sudden treating you differently. Jealous people are always keeping tabs on the person they're jealous of. They're always keeping up. They're always doing their research. Yes, some of these people are Googling your homes. They find out where you live. They know the city you're living in. They're putting your full name into the county, the marriage license search to see if you're married. And then they're going to look up your husband and see where he works. Like, you guys don't understand how far a jealous person will go when they're watching you and how far they're willing to go to gather information to crash out about you in regards to. So this is why I tell you guys to be very careful online, because you think people are not watching you. You think people at your job are not jealous of you in some manner, and that they're not Googling you to find information about you, especially if you work well. If you work well, or if you look good, you are a target for research, because they have to find something that they can break you down about. So the jealous woman is always going to act like she does not see you. Sometimes when you're talking to them, they may look up at the sky or look away or look down on their paper and act like you're not standing there. But in reality, they're looking at you under their glasses. As you walk away, they're watching you walk away. They're watching you. I had this one jealous woman